Hi, my name's June Morrow, and I help 9-to-5ers who long for meaningful work find, define, refine their callings, and get on the path to work that they love. All right, so today I'm going to address a common question, which is, in the words of the late Whitney Houston, how will I know, right? How will I know that a path is the right path for me? And if you've been stuck in this question and you're kind of like, you know what, I've got all these ideas, but I'm not super duper passionate about any of them. I've got a lot of interests, but I'm not super duper passionate about any of them. So none of them seem like a calling. This video is for you because I'm going to address one of the common misconceptions about callings. All right, so some of you may or may not know that I used to be a dating coach. And so I'm going to use an analogy to dating to share this idea about a calling. So many people have this idea that a calling should be like a lightning bolt. It should be like this thing that's just like, you have been chosen. This is what you will be doing for the rest of your life. And it's crystal clear and it comes to them in a fully formulated, 12-step business plan, and they can see everything, who their market is, who they're helping, how much money they're making. All of this is just like download. And then all they have to do is get on the path. Okay, so that's bullshit. That's what I want to say. This may happen once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon, you may have an idea and be like, it just comes to you fully formed and you know for certain without a doubt, right? But most times your calling is nothing like this, because your calling is simply an invitation. Your calling is an idea, it's a whisper, it's an interest that keeps coming back to you, right? And so I liken this to dating. Have you ever been on a date with somebody and you went on a date with them and you were like, meh, so, not really sure, but they were good enough to give a second date to, and then you go on a second date with them, and then you get to know them a lot better, and you're like, ooh, that person is way more interesting than I first thought they were, right? This happens to me all the time. I'll meet people, and I'll be like, meh, and then once we open up to each other, and they tell me more about their story, and I get to see their character more in action, usually I'm like, oh, I'm actually more attracted to this person. Or even if I'm not attracted, like, I would like to get to know this person better because now I'm interested. Because what I've done is I've invested a little bit of time in them and a little bit of time in getting to know them better. So you can see the analogy here with your calling, right? So if you have an idea and you want to know what the right idea is, sometimes you need to date your idea. Here's the opposite. Have you ever been on a date with somebody and it was just like passion? It was crazy passion at first sight, and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is perfect. And then within, a week, 3 weeks, maybe even 2 months, everything just died and ended, and it was like not the right person for you, and you realized, okay, that passion wasn't passion, it was crazy. Yeah, been there too. So it is with your calling. Sometimes we get really excited about something and then realize, no, that's not the right person, or that's not the right path for me. But you never know until you take action. This is what I want you to remember. Memorize this phrase. Passion follows action. I'm going to repeat that because it's so important. Passion follows action. If you have lukewarm interests in your life and you're trying to figure out what your calling is, look at the interest that is the least lukewarm. The one that you're like, okay, I enjoy that enough, right? It's good enough. And start taking action towards that. If you have an idea that you're like, that would be easy, and it almost seems too easy, and it seems so obvious that it definitely can't be my calling, take action towards that. If you're still trying to figure out, like, I don't have any interests, I don't know what I'm doing, I want you to just like Go through your life and anything that lights you up. If it's an idea to volunteer for a cause, or if it's to read a book, take action in that direction. Passion follows action. Passion does not come before action, right? Sometimes it does, but if you're lukewarm, it's like a spouse, it's like a life partner. You need to invest time in it for it to come back to you, for you to have that clarity if it's the right thing. And often, the more time we invest in something, the more committed and attached we become to it. So people ask me, how did I know that coaching was the right path for me? Because about 4 years ago, I was working a corporate job. I was very unhappy. I knew I wanted to leave. And I'm going to be honest, I had like 4 different options I was exploring. I was thinking about going into corporate training was one. Another option was I could leave the company I was working for. It was a government. I could leave the government and I could go into private and do the same thing I was doing in corporate, which was corporate communications, internal communications. I thought I could become a minister was another thing I was exploring, because I was very much in an awakening stage and really interested in spirituality. So I thought I could become a multi-denominational minister, or I could become a coach. And at that time, I was kind of just exploring this idea of dating coaching, which is what I used to do. And so why did I choose coaching? How did I know coaching was right for me? I didn't know it was right for me. I didn't know until I took the steps. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it as a side hustle. I'm going to take some steps and I'm going to see what happens. And at first, I didn't get confirmation it was good for me. At first, I felt like a fraud. At first, I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I had like a lot of self-doubt. And even now, as I'm leveling up my business, I have a lot of self-doubt. That self-doubt doesn't leave. You just learn how to work through it. So how did I know? I didn't know. I didn't know until I got into action. I started helping people. I was giving free calls and I was seeing results, and I was really, really enjoying the difference that I was seeing. And I started to notice, oh, I have things in me that align with this path. Like I get shivers when people are on the right path, when they have a great idea. I have this like intuitive thing that happens. But I didn't know that before. I didn't know that before any of that, before I decided this was the path for me. And I didn't know that it was the right path, but I decided it was the path. So there's a subtle shift here. There's no certainty in life, but when you take action, the steps reveal themselves. I know so much now I would have never known if I hadn't gotten into action on that path. So that's your lesson for today. Passion does not precede action. Passion follows action. And when you get into action, the path reveals itself. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you're watching this in my Facebook group, the Wayfinders Club, or on YouTube, comment below, and I would love to know, what is one tiny action, and I ask this all the time, one step that you could take today or this week to get into action on something that might turn into a passion. All right. There's also a free resource for you below. I've got some good resources if you're struggling in a day job, a dreaded day job that you can't afford to quit, to help you get through that bridge as you create your map to exit. You got this. Namaste.